Hello everybody, konnichiwa. How you doing? This is going to be a quick update about my Japanese studies as a MEXT scholar who arrived in Japan approximately a couple of months ago. So, as I have said before in this vlog, the reason I came to Japan was not to study Japanese per se. My research does not directly involve Japanese, or at least I can go without or just with basic knowledge. However, I have been learning Japanese for several years and I have taken certificate exams, the JLPT, and I have been trying to achieve the N3 level, or approximately what is B1 according to the European framework. So I am trying to do my best and improve my Japanese while I'm here. And I'm going to break down what I have been doing in order to achieve that during these couple of months and what results I feel like I have achieved. First of all, I take weekly Japanese classes that are offered by my university. The classes last an hour and a half, they center mostly on grammar, and the level is kind of hard, as in I have to work hard to catch up, to keep up with the rest of the students. Apart from this, I take private lessons once a week. I have been taking private lessons with the same teacher for a couple of years now, and it's working great for me. And I'm continuing this. Obviously these are specifically tailored for me, so if I have any particular questions, or now if I have problems with the Japanese classes in the university, I can face these problems in private with my teacher. Also, language exchange. Like I've said before, the university organizes a language exchange system which is pretty free. You just connect with people who are interested in practicing a particular language that you can teach them, and you arrange meetings at your own convenience and do whatever you wish to do during those meetings. So right now I take these classes around once a week, and they consist of half an hour me teaching English and half an hour me being taught Japanese. And during these classes I mostly focus on understanding things like poetry or songs in Japanese. And then of course there is self-study, which is not very organized because of course I'm busy with my research work, but I try to go over my notes from my Japanese classes. This is very important, probably the best thing I can do, because in order to really remember what I have studied, I have to look at it at least a couple more times. Also, I watch YouTube channels occasionally, for instance, Japanese with Yuka 101, which focuses on the certificate exams. So I look for materials for N3. Also, Japanese Amo with Misa. That's one that is more focused on maybe like everyday speech or a range of vocabulary. What else? I watch an occasional film. The last one I watched was Stand By Me Doraemon from 2014. I watched it on Netflix. I read books occasionally, really not that much. For instance, I have these Japanese short stories. So both of these are parallel texts in English and Japanese, and they include explanations, they include hiragana on top of kanji whenever needed, which is very helpful. But it's a hard read. Like, if I really want to look at a text in detail, then I can't do more than a page or two a day. So do I already sense improvement in my Japanese? The short answer is no, as in if lecturers switch to Japanese, I do not get what they're saying. If I try to eavesdrop on someone's conversation in Japanese, I do not understand more than maybe 20-30% of what they're saying. When I look at sample JLPT and 3 exams, I don't get enough of them right in order to pass the exam. But then of course it has only been a couple of months, a large part of which feels like just still staying at home, being quarantined, even though I have been of course out of the hotel for at least a month and a half now. On a positive note, when I go outside, I do not try to speak to people in English. I say simple things in Japanese, and when they ask me something such as, do I live nearby? Do I need them to put some ice in my ice cream bag in order for it to stay frozen for longer? I can understand and I can reply. I can ask a waiter if the minestrone soup is vegetarian, and then they can just smile at me and say something really long that I assume is a yes, and then I can find something that suspiciously looks like a piece of bacon in my soup. And I'm watching films in Japanese with Japanese subtitles. This would have been unthinkable a year ago. I would have been happy just to catch separate words, you know, let alone full expressions. But yeah, that's really an achievement. My future plans involving my study of Japanese, or you can call them New Year resolutions. It's this time of the year. So first of all, concerning the weekly classes, after talking to other international students, I think that they might not be sufficient for me to improve my Japanese substantially. This is actually the most sparing option, just having an hour and a half of classes per week. I could have gone for 4 hours or 8 hours, and then the classes would have been divided into conversation classes, listening classes, and several other types, which would have been very useful for the JLPT exam in particular. So I would need special permission from my supervisor in order to attend these, but I think I will try to do that starting next term. Next term starts in April. Also, there is this practice in local cultural centers, at least here. There is a cultural center called Kokona, where there are people volunteering and helping you with your Japanese. They're usually old people, like retired people, who are happy to meet learners and to help them out with whatever they can. The price is just symbolic, it's like 100 yen for a lesson, so I have been advised to attend those, so at least I'll give it a go. I'm curious, I want to see what this would be like. And then I would like to start venturing into more specialized language, such as there will be a big natural language processing conference held in Japan in February. It is entirely in Japanese, but I think I'm going to attend it. Not as in presenting, but as in listening to presentations. And finally, I'm going to share with you a diary entry that I wrote entirely in Japanese. That's the longest text I've written in Japanese up to date. I hope it can be useful for you if you're a learner. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If you see any mistakes, don't worry, you can point them out, I wouldn't mind. The text is about a trip I went on a couple of weeks ago to Arashiyama, a place in Kyoto. I think it's considered in Kyoto, but it's like a little mountain. Very fun place. There were some monkeys, there was some beautiful forests and a river and a bamboo forest and some lights. 昨日2021年11月12日、嵐山に行きました。嵐山は大井川の近くの場所です。美しい自然で有名です。朝 大学の近くで友達に会いました。彼女は中国人ですが、完璧な日本語を話します。小さな電車に乗りました。1時間後、嵐山に着きました。晴れた日ではありませんでした。しかし、雨は降らなかった。私は最初に気づいたのは美しい山でした。木にはまだ多くの色の葉がありました。川にはボートで楽しんでいる家族がいました。アヒルやセギもいました。まず中国人の記念碑を見に行きました。友達は中国の歴史について話してくれました。それから山に登った猿の公園を見ました。すごかった。猿は可愛かったです。赤ちゃん猿もいました。人を踊れていません。それから私たちは川の近くを歩きました。実は嵐山を訪れるのに最適な日でした。夕方にイベントがあったから。イベントは暗くなった時に始まりました。至るところにライトがありました。有名な竹林の中を歩きました。たくさんの人がいました。道には提灯がありました。木は青い光に包まれていた。夢のように感じました。Alright, thanks for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.